Welcome to the Productivity Show, a podcast where we believe that you can get the important things done without having to sacrifice your health, family, and things that matter to you. My name is Tam Pham. I'm the founder and CEO of Agent Efficiency, where we help people become more productive at work and in life. And if you're a knowledge worker, you are definitely in the right place. When we have the Wisdom Wednesday episodes, we like to deliver actionable productivity advice in less than 10 minutes. A few years ago, I was working with a client, and let's just call her Mona Lisa for easy's sake, because that's not her real name, but I want to keep her identity a secret. And she used to come to me and complain about how much time she was spending on email. She was spending about 7 to 8 hours a day on email. Now, she was managing the payroll for a Fortune 500 company, and she was reporting to over 20 executives via email. So as you can imagine, when you're doing a lot of research, crunching numbers, and reporting to over 20 executives via email, you probably are spending most of your time in your email inbox. The challenge that Mona Lisa had was that she also had to do all this work outside of her email inbox while also being responsive to her executives. She had this challenge of doing all this deep work on one hand and having the focus and time and space to do that, but also being responsive to the executives, because oftentimes they would email her with questions they needed to know to help them make better informed decisions about payroll and pay and costs and all these other numbers that they needed to crunch to help them make better decisions. And so how did we balance the two? And she couldn't figure it out. And her struggle was the fact that because her email inbox was open all day long, anytime a notification came in, she would immediately pay attention to the notification and try to address the email on the spot. And as we started working together, I noticed how her workflow was so inefficient that it was no wonder that she was spending 6 to 8 hours a day in her email inbox. Research has shown that anytime you get distracted, it takes anywhere between 15 to 23 minutes to get back into flow. In other words, if you're working on something and all of a sudden you hear that ding notification from your email app and you pay attention to it, you literally lose flow and focus right away, and it will take you roughly 15 to 20 minutes to get back into the train of thought and that flow state that you were in previously. And as you are getting multiple notifications throughout the day, you can imagine that you're wasting a lot of focus time, flow time, and distraction-free zone time that allows you to get into the deep work, the creative work, the meaningful work that you're paid to do. So what I told Mona Lisa was, hey, I know you have to be responsive to all these executives. I know you want to look like you're on top of things, while at the same time also doing all this work. So here's a really simple solution. I want you to close your email inbox and only check your email 3 times a day, at 9 a.m., at 1 o'clock, and at 4 o'clock. And in between those sessions, I want you to work on the projects that they asked you to do. So the beautiful part to the system is that, one, you check emails multiple times a day, and oftentimes I would recommend to her that she only checks it for about 30 minutes each time, so it's about an hour and a half a day at most. And anytime she was done, she would then have time and space to work on the deep work stuff, the focus time, the flow time that she needed to crunch the numbers, do the research, create the reports, and all the other things she had to do to report back to her executives. Now, because she was able to check her email 3 times a day, it still seemed like she was very responsive to her executives, because she had this limiting belief that if she didn't reply to an email within a few minutes, it might look like she's not on top of her game. And that was a self-imposed limitation that she had. And I challenged her on that idea, because if someone got back to you within an hour or two, would you look responsive? And she was afraid that she didn't. But once we implemented this workflow where she checked email only 3 times a day, only for 30 minutes each time, and used the other periods of her day to do the deep work, she got more work done. Her executives never noticed any difference, and she was spending less time in her email inbox and more time doing the work that was asked of her to do. And as a result, she didn't have to stay much longer at the office. She didn't have to check her email at home. She didn't have to do any work outside of office hours or on the weekends. And as a result, she was able to pick up her favorite hobby, which was doing yoga, and also coming home on time to cook some meals for her family and spend more quality time with her husband and her grown-up kids. But what I want you to think about today is how can you spend less time on email? So instead of having your email inbox open all day long, what if you have it only open for 2 times a day? Personally, I like to keep it to 10 a.m. and then 3 p.m. But maybe for you, you have to check it multiple times a day, like 3 or 4 times a day. What I don't want you to do is have your email inbox open all day long. Commit to maybe checking 2 or 3 times a day, maximum 30 minutes each session, and notice how much more focused and productive you'll be. Give it a try. It's going to feel uncomfortable the first time you do it. In the first week, it will feel weird, but trust me, try this out this week, and you'll see you'll be a lot more focused, you'll get a lot more done, and you'll be a lot more productive. Thanks for listening to The Productivity Show. This is one of the skills we teach inside of our program, 25X Productivity System. Go to agentefficiency.com for more information, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode of our podcast. I'll see you then.